Welcome to New Hampshire Unscripted with your host, Ray Dudley.
So why don't we start off? Why don't you both introduce yourselves and give me an idea of what your relationship is to the NHTAs, and we'll take off from there.
Sounds good.
All right.
Karina, do you want to start or you want me to start?
Okay, sure, I will. Let me turn my phone off. I'm Karina Allayne, and I've been a part of New Hampshire Theatre Awards, I don't know, for some odd number of years. I don't know, 4 or 5, something like that. And I started out performing in the performance ensemble on the actual, the awards show. And then it morphed into helping out with the singing. And then this last awards show that we did have, which was 2020, I was the music director for it, and also played in the pit, directed the pit. So that's me.
So are you actually an officer or anything at this point? Are you?
No, I'm not. No,
I don't mean to denigrate what you do.
I'm a hired hand. I'm an independent contractor.
Okay, all right. Ellen?
Yes, and I'm Ellen Desmond. I'm the acting president of the board, and I've been on the board for 6 years, which is kind of crazy when I think about it. So I've kind of moved up through the ranks. I started, back in 2015. I did a lot of, communications work early on, just trying to get my feet wet a little bit with the board. And then was vice president. And now, while we are kind of figuring out our plan for the board, in the next, 3 to 5 years, I've taken over at the helm a little bit. So a little plug for anybody who wants to join the board. We would love to have you. I don't
Karina.
need to be running that ship. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, we basically just came up with this idea of feeling like we needed some way of celebrating everything that's, been going on. We, as a board, have been undergoing a strategic planning process, and that's been open to the whole theater community, New Hampshire theater community. We kind of put out a plug at our annual meeting last year and just said, hey, if you want to join, if you want to be part of what the NHTA is going to be, in the future, what you envision the Alliance becoming, join us. And we've had a crew of really incredible people to join at some open meetings, and we've had great discussions. We've got a number of subcommittees and work groups, and one of them was really looking at some of the community engagement aspects of the way that we can really do other things beyond the award show. And we figured we should start with something that's kind of an award show, but not really, which is this UnAwards show. It's just a great way for us to celebrate everything that's been going on, maybe not on stage, but certainly via Zoom screens and in parking lots, and just some non-traditional theater spaces throughout the state during the pandemic.
So about, it has to be 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago, I did a podcast with Gina and Justin.
Yes.
And at that time, you were morphing away from the moniker of New Hampshire Theatre Awards over to the New Hampshire Theatre Alliance. And that was a big undertaking, because I think there was some coding and everything that had to go on. And with, I don't even know.
Oh yeah. We had to update our 501c3 paperwork.
Yeah.
Right.
So before we get into this upcoming project, how's that morphing going? Is it going well?
Slowly but surely. I think we made the name change, but it's got to be more than a name change, right? We certainly, it was an aspirational name change, knowing that we want to do more than just host an award show, once a year. Of course, that obviously involves having an award show requires a really robust adjudication process throughout the year, right? Where we're all going around seeing each other's shows throughout the state, throughout the year. And so with no denigration, I guess, or, not to say that that's not a worthwhile endeavor, because it is. That's exactly what we want to stand behind. We also were looking for opportunities to just get more people involved. And so even something like opening up our strategic planning process to the broader community and inviting people in, having, Zoom board meetings has been really great for that. We've got folks from all over who've been attending and working on some of those work groups in terms of revamping our ballot redesign process and our rethinking the adjudication. It's just allowed far more stakeholder engagement, which is a really good start. We certainly would like to be doing more out in the community, but I also think, we can just be a liaison or a voice for communities, for companies that are already doing a lot. We know that there are workshops and trainings happening throughout the state. And if we can, just be the mouthpiece and kind of drive people to those opportunities. We don't necessarily need to be hosting everything. We don't want to recreate the wheel, but we do want to be, as an alliance, a true platform for artists to, share their work and get new companies on board. We're really excited. I think for our next adjudication and awards season, we will have some new companies on board, which is fabulous. Kind of broadening our reach in the North Country and the Seacoast area. Those are really some of our goals moving forward. And I think the rebranding, certainly helps us, and helps communicate that we don't just want to be this, awards system, right? We want it to be really a community, and it already is. So we might as well just kind of, brand it that way and promote it that way.
Yeah. So is there some void that you think has been missing that you guys are trying to fit now, or what is it? I'm trying to get a feeling for what it is you see that you're trying to fill here.
Yeah. And I think we're still going through that identity crisis a little bit of trying to figure out where is that need, right? Where is our niche too? There are so many other, the professional theater organization, the community theater organizations that are doing a lot of that convening and hosting, how to audition and hosting master classes and things like that. I don't necessarily that we think we need to join the ranks of what's already, being done, but again, acting as that, giving a platform, especially maybe to newer companies, or just kind of welcoming them into the fold.
So Ellen, what does that mean? Give them a platform. What if I'm a new company, you're going to reach out to me, and what are you going to invite me to be a part of or do?
Sure. So certainly the adjudication system allows for the way that it's kind of being redesigned right now, allows for more communication and it's really celebration than it has in the past. It's less about the score that you get at the end of your ballot.
Yeah, I get it.
And more. We'll have
no one pays any attention to the scores.
We'll have to do a teaser for you, because it's coming along really nicely. And so I think the value of, quote, joining the alliance, not like there's an official, you need to join on board or anything, but I think kind of coming into the fold means that you will be surrounded by a bunch of theater artists who have, expert opinions and feedback, and can kind of help you, in your career, your career as a theater artist, kind of perfecting your craft. So that in of itself is incredibly valuable. And that's why we've been focusing so much on adjudication through our strategic planning process, because we've seen the need to reflect on what has worked and what hasn't worked in the past, and have it be less about that number and more about the feedback, really, right? That narrative feedback, and providing a chance to just send people to see good theater all over the state.
So are you thinking that it's going to still, the central tenet will still be the once a year thing?
I don't think that's going away. Yeah.
All right, good. That's good news.
We all love that celebration. And certainly, we very much missed it this year, not being able to get all dressed up and go down to the Capitol Center. So I don't think that's going away.
Some of us just want to get dressed.
Right. Yeah, stop just wearing yoga pants, and yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that we don't envision that, going away, but listening more to, learning how to listen more to what those needs are, and potentially being, a true partner in some of that, whether there's a project that a company is looking to do on the side, and do you need us to champion it, right? Do you need us to maybe potentially, help you like write a grant for it, or give our support for it, right? Whatever we can do to kind of just keep holding up and just promoting, a lot of
Seems
what's
like a
already.
huge undertaking. I mean, be honest. This
It
sounds
is.
mammoth.
It is, and we're still in that process, especially, with the strategic planning process. We're just looking for people to weigh in. Does this organization need to do something that we're not thinking of, right? And giving people the chance to share out, what do you want to see the Alliance doing, right? Because it's not going to be sustainable if it's just, a small board saying this is what we want to do. The award show is great. If the feedback we're getting is we just want to do the award show and maybe another fun event in the summer or something, then that's fine too, right?
Yeah.
We're at a great crossroads. We've been around for, like more than 15 years, and we just want to get a sense of where people want to go with this, and we'll support it. And
So
whatever's needed.
You're battling your image because
Oh, yeah.
you're
Isn't everybody all the time with pandemic?
not me. You have to have an image to battle first. So, well, I mean, people know the NHTA for the annual event.
For the awards, yeah.
So now you've got to try to, I don't want to say overcome that, but massage in this whole other facet or arena that you're trying to create.
Right.
How are groups finding out that they can join or want to join? Or because I think normally you're not in the front of their minds as their season goes on, except for the adjudication part.
For sure. And it's I think there's a great analogy too, and I think a lot of organizations go through this in that like 15 to 20 year, we've been around long enough, like it's that growing pains of being like a teenager. We're like an angsty teenager where we're like, okay, we're not quite a kid. We don't want to just be an award show, but there's nothing wrong with being just an award show either. But we're trying to figure out, what more could we offer?
Yeah.
And so how do people find out? A lot of it is just outreach of saying, hey, we've been around for a while. We do have this, annual celebration. We have this adjudication process that we're revamping. I think the adjudication process will be a great way into some of those conversations with new companies that might want to get involved. Or, those who we've lost along the way, maybe, welcoming them back in and saying, look, we've got this new ballot. We've got a new process. Do you want to come back, right? Do you want to join us again? And just putting our name out there, I guess, in a new way. And
there's a
like
lot of, I was going to say, there's a lot of reaching out personally that will have to be done.
You mean like a handshake, going out and see the groups and meet them and talk to them?
Yeah. I mean, do we have our mask on? Whatever. but even just the personal messages, whether it's email or calling or whatever, and talking about it with everybody. I mean, I think that's going to be key.
Yeah.
Getting people to understand what's available and what they can do.
Yeah, well, and I think because, again, I hate to say it, but you're known for the award ceremony. So you're not yet in their minds, I don't think, as a resource. If I need to find a hall or a venue, it's not the NHTA that comes to mind right away, or even a grant. I mean, you think about the New Hampshire Council for the Arts or whatever, unfortunately, before the NHTA. So you got an uphill battle here.
Well, and it's okay that those other resources exist, right? That it's not okay. It's more than okay. It's great that people know where to go to find certain things. I think we're still finding our footing in terms of what can we offer that's different than that, or is it enough that we, again, are just a conduit to other things, right? where we can say, okay, company in the North Country, guess what? A company in Central or Southern New Hampshire is also doing something similar. Like maybe there's an exchange of resources there, right? And being able to be that link, that in and of itself, I think is a valuable pursuit. So that's ultimately the infrastructure that I'm like kind of trying to build up. I think a lot of that I know a lot of that already exists, being in the theater world. We have so many designers and actors that are part of, upwards of 8 different companies throughout the state or throughout their region. So that's happening organically anyway.
Yeah.
And so if there's a way for us to leverage that and streamline it, provide a platform for it, then why wouldn't we do that? But we're not looking to like replace anything that anyone else is doing or even really replicate or duplicate, right? We
It's
just
okay. I mean, if you can do it better, right? It's just really, if you can, I don't know if you can, but
I don't know if we can. It takes a lot of capacity for sure. I think that's the big thing is there has to be, drivers and champions behind it and just hearing from the community really what their needs are, right? If there is a gap, if there is something that we could offer that is new and different, then we want to know about that. And we're starting to have those conversations, but it's going to take a long time to really get a sense of what's needed out there. Is it guidance on financial stuff? Is it resource sharing in terms of, costumes and right? Do we need a like juried artists in residence list or, what is it that some of those things already do exist? But how do we cross-pollinate, a little bit better, not just items, but also ideas, right? I think the UnAwards is going to be a cool way for people to see what their colleagues across the state have been up to, during the pandemic. And hopefully, I think the pandemic has poised us to think a little differently about, virtual theater or outdoor theater or other ways to be really creative. And that might mean some more cross-pollination throughout the state and among different companies, some joint projects and things like that. That's really what I'm hoping to see, that we take some of the uncertainty and the weirdness of this year and really kind of redefine what it means to do theater in New Hampshire.
Yeah. So you're like every group, 2019, we're humming right along and everything's going good and you've got your plans made, and then we slam right into this thing.
We're lucky that we were able to have our award show before all of this happened. I mean, thank goodness it's in January, because I think it would have been a big disappointment.
Yeah, you just made the window, right? For the most part.
We did.
That's pretty crazy. So everything explodes or implodes, depending on how you want to look at it. What are you thinking? Everything comes to a screeching halt, and you're in charge of this massive event, which was supposed to take place again the next year.
Right.
What are you thinking at that point? I mean,
we were rolling with the punches. So we talked very early on, we're thinking, okay, this might be a brief interruption. We'll have to, figure out for paused or postponed performances. Let's get our ducks in a row for, adjudicators and make sure when things open back up in, a few weeks or a few months, we're
once
ready.
We flatten the curve, you'll be
fine. To hit the ground running. And then we made a lot of phone calls. All of our board members reached out to any participating company that wanted to talk with us about where they were at, what their needs were. So I spoke to, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 different companies just to say, like, are you applying for loans? Like, are you postponed? Are you like in danger of folding completely? Like, are you doing something online outside? What are your plans? This is also perfectly okay, simply pausing? Are you just taking a break and using this as a breathing moment to figure out, what your next season could look like? And so we heard from a bunch of companies, kind of got up to speed with where they were at. And then as things started to progress, we basically were like, we can't obviously continue with, adjudication. We wouldn't feel right sending people throughout the state, even masked and socially distanced. And there also was not a whole lot of theater to consume, for a while there. But even as things started, opening up a little bit in the summer, we just felt like, we don't want to put anybody in a situation where they felt uncomfortable. And of course, without adjudication, feedback, and ballots, we can't have an award show. So this kind of became our alternative, the award show. So we started thinking about that. What would it look like to have some kind of compilation, a gathering? We miss each other. We want to see each other. What kind of event could we plan that would allow a little glimpse into what the pandemic has been like for all of our participating companies and companies beyond, those who have participated in the NHTA. And so we kind of, opened that up. And then simultaneously, we really started our strategic planning process and identified, as I mentioned, adjudication was definitely a focus area we wanted to dive into. Community engagement as well. Those are kind of two of our big just hallmarks of the direction that we want to go in. So revamping the ballot, that redesign, there's a core group of people who have taken on that endeavor, and we'll have something late spring to chat, to share out and chat with people about. And then we'll hopefully be able to start training people on it and start using it.
So are you still thinking at the end of this year, there'll be potentially?
That is our hope. So our hope is that things will slowly get, back to normal. We have talked about, the productions that were in limbo, right? Who we have ballots for, that we're adjudicated, we're part of that process before everything shut down. So that would have been like basically the month of February and early March. How do we weave that, of course, into our next, hopefully 2022, January 2022 ceremony. And then, beta test this new ballot as well. So that's certainly the plan. I think it's going to be upended pretty quickly, but we're anxious to get back out there and see some theater, because it's been it's hard. It's really hard. I love that. I love the creativity that I've seen, and folks will definitely get a taste for that if they come to an award show. But I also just miss sitting in the theater. I miss like the smell of theaters, so that musty, costume closet smell.
I love when I first walk into any theater and take that smell. They're all different, but there's something wonderful about that. I don't know. It's an old building kind of thing. I don't know.
It's musty. There's a lot of sweat and tears. Right.
That's probably what it is. More tears than anything. Karina, what were you preparing to do the musical part again before everything? You said you were the musical director for the show.
Well, things didn't even go that far, but of course I would have been very interested in doing it again. But things shut down basically before there was even any talk like about next year's show.
So would you be working with Clint? Clint was involved, right?
Yeah.
So did you work arm in arm with him, kind of?
I worked
lack of a better term,
and Brian Halperin with his last year there, and Tyler Susie with his production company. So that was wonderful.
You have all been such a great, creative and technical team over the past few years. We've loved being at the Capitol Center. We have such a great partnership with them, and just have felt so welcomed. It's been wonderful.
Is there any rumor, any effort to move to the new Colonial in Laconia?
Potentially.
I don't want to start anything.
If you want to plug it.
I happen to know someone who is up there that, and you know him too, Brian.
We would love to. I love that the award show has found its home throughout the state. I think that's needed. I mean, I love being in Concord. I'm also a Concord native, so I'm biased, but I love that, we've been multiple places throughout the state. We are kind of making our way up north, I would say, as an award show. So maybe we should talk about moving to Laconia.
I can hook you up with a guy.
Yes.
So, I got a million questions, but I know we want to talk about the UnAwards, and because it's coming up shortly, right?
It's coming up.
Is it the 10th?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about that. How many groups are involved, and what was the thought process? I know you hit on a little bit about we need to evolve and get people, or we want to get people thinking and, doing something. So what was the response? You put out a call, and what was the response? How many groups? How's it been received, and what can we expect?
Sure. So we decided, let's see, I don't even know, Karina, when it was earlier in the winter, that we needed to do something to mark this, right? We didn't, obviously there was no kind of award ceremony that we could really do. So we tossed around, a few ideas and kind of came up with this idea that, let's just do like a compilation, right? Not that we want just like a montage, but let's just get everybody to this table and celebrate all of the little things and the big things that people have created. So we reached out to our participating companies. We posted on our social media, and we essentially just set up this, it's called WeTransfer, this dumping ground, like, hey, just link to your stuff, send us what you've created. You can make your own little montage and upload it. You can send us pictures, you can send us clips of you dancing, you can, whatever you've created, however you've gotten through this pandemic, and been an artist through the pandemic, send it to us. So we've got submissions from some individuals, and then of course our participating companies as well. Our goal has been from the beginning to get something from every company. Mm-hmm. We haven't quite met that, but we do know that there's other stuff out there floating in the cybersphere that we can kind of draw on, productions that have been live streamed to YouTube or to Facebook or things like that. So we're in the process right now of just pulling it together. We do have some special other little, some other little treats. So it's not just, again, I feel like that word just diminishes everything. It's not solely a reflection of what's been going on throughout the year. But there are some things that try to be true to the award ceremony as well. I don't know if Karina wants to give a little bit of a teaser.
She know where the dead bodies are? Is that what's going on here? She knows the backstory.
She knows where the treats are.
Yeah, I have to add too. I mean, Ellen talked about the participating companies, but we did reach out to literally every theater company in New Hampshire.
And how many is that, just so we can set a base?
Oh my gosh, I didn't count them.
We have to give a major shout out to Michael Curtis, who is great at chronicling all of our performing arts companies.
I love it.
So we just heavily on him.
Yeah.
Took his list and just went down the line and contacted people. And
there's more than 10.
Oh, more than 10.
Yeah, definitely. So it's wonderful. And plus, I also reached out and probably some others, personally to some people that I know that have been doing some things on their own as well, because that creativity is just as important and as needed as well. Mm-hmm. Our souls for our, to be the creators we are, to be the artists we are, because not everybody has a theater that's able to, I don't know what the word is, but, be able to manage things, whether it be on Zoom or wherever, to be able to do that. Not all of them have that ability. So it's so nice. I'm really looking forward to the UnAwards show, that I'm going to be able to see what the other theaters have done, what people have done creatively, and then The thing is that's different from the actual awards show is that we opened it to everyone. We're highlighting everyone who wanted to be highlighted, I guess. But you know, so we're going to see things that you wouldn't normally see in the awards show. In the awards show, you've got okay, these are the top 3 in this category. Here's a performance from this group or that group, and you have to pick and select. You can't have everybody perform, right?
Yeah, it would be like an 8-hour show, and no
Right.
Right.
one, no one wants to sit through that.
No. So that is the really cool thing about this is that people were able to kind of condense what they've done in little 3-minute segment or what have you, and it's going to reach everyone. Internet. Hello, everybody can sit down. They can see this. And that's what's so exciting about the UnAwards show. We do have some parodies that are going to be
Nice
on the show. So hoping to make fun of the pandemic or whatever, or just, our little situations that we've been put into.
So I don't want you to have to give away anything.
Yeah.
But what kinds of things, what were you looking for? What were you getting? And what surprised you?
We literally have everything from Shakespeare to drag to dance pieces to it's a little of everything. It's wonderful. Not that there wasn't lots of drag in Shakespeare too, but there's a diverse range of, we've got some original pieces, which is fabulous. Young performers, older performers, monologue, like we've got pieces of everything.
Now, how many people actually responded? Were you like, oh my God, I didn't think this many people would do it?
We had man, I don't even know if I could put a number to it. We had a lot of companies kind of create their own compilation or montage and send that in. So that's like a pretty substantial, like 3 to 10 minute chunks where they kind of gathered their own community and then sent it to us.
Cool.
And then we have a bunch of individual performers who have shared, certain things as well. We don't, like I said, we don't have,
certain things. I don't
want to give anything away.
I know.
So it really is any kind of like any kind of performance or even pictures too. We have a bunch of just still pictures. It's not all video. So we have a bunch of different kinds of media, dance, lots of Zoom, stage readings, things like that. So we'll have some clips from that. Like I said, lots of images, dance pieces.
So whose job was it to compile all this and then edit it and put it in some kind of a acceptable form?
Yeah. So Tracy Kosker, who's another member of our planning team, along with Gina Carballo, it's been the 4 of us, kind of trying to orchestrate this. So Tracy is compiling those pieces. And then we also have Karina's daughter, who has been helping edit as well, which is wonderful.
Excellent.
So it's been a crowdsourced and group compilation project.
So you're just going to stream it or what? And how's that going to work?
Yeah. So our Eventbrite will go live tomorrow that's Saturday, on our Instagram, our Facebook, and then we'll also place it right on the our website as well. And folks will sign up, they'll register. Essentially you're buying a ticket. Tickets are free. So you'll log in, you'll purchase your free ticket, and then the day of the show, you'll get your link. and you'll hop on the webinar and it'll stream. And then our hope is that we'll have folks kind of mill around. We'd like to create a little like lobby or
Yeah, the after party room, the after party room, yeah.
exactly experience. So folks can hang on, you know, and just kind of debrief and say hi and see each other, and just again providing like a venue, you know, being that convener so people can.
So this thing's saying a minute here. I don't know what's going to happen after a minute. I hope it just keeps going. I don't know, and then charges me later. I have no idea. But so, how long do you anticipate it to be?
You know, we don't.
An hour.
It'll be less than an hour. Oh, for sure. Yeah, our goal has been like 40 minutes.
Really?
Run time.
That's impressive.
We also have an in memoriam section. We wanted to make sure that we really honor those we've lost this year. So we've got, you know, some performances, some reflection, you know, and then the in memoriam as well. So we think the whole kit and caboodle will, you know, probably be 40-45 minutes. That's our aim. We do still have some putting together to do to make sure it's all polished and all of that.
Yeah,
so
the clock's ticking.
Right. I know. So you'll have to show up to see how long it's going to be, but yes, it'll be under for planning purposes.
Yes.
Bank on 7 o'clock. No later than 8. We'll have you off your screen.
Nice. Do you have all the help you need? Can you use more help? Are there people?
Always. Oh, for sure. In both on this project as well as just on the Alliance.
Let me get back to the UnAwards. Has it been wildly received? I was thinking as an actor, this period of time for me, it's very reflective about why I need it. You can go crazy, you know, but I think there's really something, there's not just the thrill of the crowd, but there's almost are we there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my screen just blew out, so.
Oh, no.
That's all right. Hang on. Oh, I know what it did. Hang on.
We can hear you. So I mean, that's the good thing about it being
I'm back.
I can see you too.
Well, what it did was it just finished converting the previous one through the screen. Let's start that over. So what I was saying was we almost have an addiction to the momentum as well. It's not just having the thrill of seeing an audience and performing, but, you know, there's so many of us who have back to back things that we keep lining up. And so has the response been the chance to do something? Has that been received well? I mean, were people like, yes, let us in?
So
I could just speak to the small, you know, part because with one of the parodies, I called on quite a few performers and artists to participate in it in many ways, whether it was giving ideas for the parody. They also were given free reign to, I'm trying to like say things without giving this away, but free reign to just not have a director telling them what to do, right? So like I said, well, here, this is the lyrics, or this is what you're gonna do, or not do, but this is what I need. Now you go.
Here's the vision. Yeah,
exactly. Here's the vision. Now you go and you be creative with it and see what you want to do with it. So a lot of people are like, yes, I want to do this. And they were so excited about it, and just boom. So.
Nice.
Yeah. And then on the other side, you have people who are just so burnt out from doing anything, and we've all just, you know, permitted. So we totally understand that as well. We just wanted it to be, you know, a venue if people wanted to participate or share or whatever, just that open space to kind of gather and be a community. But also like totally understand if people are like, I can't do another, you know, anything on the screen, or like, I'll watch it later, or, you know, we get that too.
Yeah. Well, nature has a way of forcing us to accept certain things. And, there's a reason why there's winter, because things just got to
Right.
stop and rest. And
Right.
some of us don't have enough sense to rest.
Right.
We
Right.
just we just crave the whole shebang of it all.
Right.
Do
Yeah.
you envision any part of this possibly carrying on as maybe, I mean, I know it's early, I know it's your first one, but do you see this as possibly another thing that the NHTA could do every year?
I think it has potential if there's some kind of a celebration. Maybe there is a way to do something virtually. I have long wanted like a festival or some kind of summer celebration. We do this great thing in the freezing cold in January or February every year, but I would also love something in August or September. So I think that there is an opportunity of kind of switching up the venue or the doing something to celebrate, and maybe virtual is a way to do that, to kind of reconvene and reconnect people midway through the season. I think it has possibilities for sure. I don't know that we'll need to, hopefully we won't ever have to do another award show, because we'll be able to keep doing our actual award show. But I think that this format has certainly, being able to just meet with people over Zoom. I mean, even just like I said, our open board meetings, having that venue, having them every month over Zoom where people can just pop in, and not have to drive to our meeting venue. And like that is huge. In terms of transparency and building, our network and community and all of that. So I do see some of those things continuing in a post-COVID world, post-pandemic world, because it just connects us better. We're a small state, but it still takes 3 hours to drive up north. So or to drive down, so there's potential for this idea to live on and kind of morph over time to keep us all connected throughout the year, not just for an awards night.
I think that's one of the best things, I guess, that's happened out of this pandemic, is still being able to connect with people, but also connect with more people. There's been several theaters that have expressed how their audience has grown because they're able to stream their performances. Like they have people in Germany watching their performances. Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's just, I think that is one of the best positives, I think.
Yeah, that's an unknown positive, and nobody would have thought of that, really.
Right.
Exactly. So,
and even
exciting.
Bringing people into the New Hampshire community as as designers as well. I know of a number of companies that were still able to have some kind of summer stock ish type of thing, because they had performers in New York, or designers or creatives out in California or something like that, and they were able to do live master classes and live audition prep and things like that, working and collaborating, having a director who is halfway across the country or halfway across the world, even directing a virtual staged reading or something. That wouldn't have been possible otherwise, right? That person would have had to been in residency, which also, of course, is wonderful. And we love people coming to New Hampshire, especially for summer stock, and being able to like get them into this community in the Granite State. But it did open some doors, I think, for companies that have been wanting to do that, doing that, more of that outreach beyond the Granite State, and inviting them into what we've built in New Hampshire, which is really wonderful to see.
I had an idea. I'll throw it out here now because I'll just put it out here. Have you been to the film festival out in Portsmouth?
The Snob?
Not necessarily that one, but the one that's so Snob's in Concord, right? For the most part. So, but the big film festival that goes on out there. Well, it's this huge event, but they have all these different halls where they're showing films that people have made. But then on top of that, they have all these workshops that are going on throughout the day. And I thought, why don't we do that for theater? Why don't we have like a place like the Steeplegate Mall, for instance, just as a throw it out there, but you could have the Capitol Center for the Arts, the Bank of New Hampshire, the Audi, the Hatbox, and whatever else around there. Bring them all into the parking lot for like a huge barbecue or whatever. But there's workshops going on throughout the city. We could have
I
directors,
love it.
and we could have designers, set designers, costume designers, all having these workshops. We could have different talented individuals. We could have people doing pieces that have been on their heart for a long time. I mean,
That's
but it
awesome.
just seems
Do
like it
you
would.
want to join the board, Ray?
No.
I want to leave that up.
Will you please? Yes, will you please?
You hear
do
me
it?
say I was throwing that out there?
You want
Oh, you're
someone
letting
else
it
to pick it up?
go.
But I just thought it would be such a wonderful summertime event,
Yeah.
where everybody can kind of stop and they can come and we could bring in guest speakers as well,
Sure.
theater people. I mean, I don't know anybody, but Clint knows a lot of people from Broadway, and
He does.
you could bring in some of those folks. Anyway, I just thought
Yeah.
it would be a decent chance for.
That's such a great idea, and the idea of the arts, specifically the theater arts, taking over a community
I
for
know.
a day or a weekend or something, is super exciting, and it happens in other communities and other, right? Like we've got the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen has their fair, and it's the same idea. You can go all across the community and see all these tents are set up, and there are downtown days and market days and all of these whether it's agricultural
Sure.
exhibitions and things like that. So why couldn't we use that model and do it?
Oh,
in a
absolutely. I mean, you've
performing
got
arts
the
venue?
Red River Theater. I didn't mean to keep them out, but the Red River and the Bank of New Hampshire, there's small enough venues.
And
where
they're
you
right
can have-
across the street.
Right. You could have guest speakers come in, right? You could talk classes on adjudication and, how things work and how to start a
Yeah.
group, how to get funding, how to write grants. All that stuff could be done on top of having a barbecue up there.
Right. I know that's really what you're in it for.
That's
is-
all I care about.
I get
I
it.
didn't get this thin thinking about Cheerios.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea, and that's exactly the kind of thing that I think, if we've got motivated people who want to make that happen, that would be a wonderful thing to stand up. And I think that's really what we just want. We just need the capacity and the ideas, right? We need people like you to bring those ideas and say, look, I'm really passionate about this. Can you help convene a team? And provide those ideas and make it happen. If there's
All over
interest
the
in it,
state.
do it.
Yeah, it could happen easily. I mean, and a place like Concord would be a good place for it. I mean, I don't know much about it.
One of the other communities that we've chatted in the recent years with, that I think is really seeing a rejuvenation, a renaissance, is Dover. And so that I think that there are a number of different communities, even Laconia too, right? Like we're seeing some investment in the arts. I think, like there are Claremont even is a great example with Amplified Arts. They have become this mainstay now on Main Street. And I think helping community members visibly see how much the arts are contributing to the local economy
Yes.
it's such an important piece, and being able to do that with some kind of like a festival or fair or something like that, and invite people in. And it's not just for the theater artists, but also come see the show that's playing at night, and get to meet people from all over New Hampshire that
And it could be a huge economic boost as well,
right,
because they'll be using the restaurants, possibly the hotels, and
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Even, I mean, we talk about that too, even just as a tiny little organization that has one main event. Folks who come to the award show eat downtown and stay over, and and even just for that one night,
I know.
we're boosting Concord's economy in that way. And so that's wonderful.
Well, it's a wonderful. on a side note, I guess, it's a wonderful event. I mean, it's so entertaining that even if you had no skin in the game, and you weren't even part of a group, just the entertainment to watch the different cuts from shows and stuff. We
Absolutely.
love it. My wife and I just love it as something just to go to,
Yeah.
we could care less who wins. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always nice to win, but
Everybody wants their lose side, but yeah, it's true. And yeah, for me, honestly, I love the show itself, of course. I've been going since I was like 13. And so I kind of grew up going to the theater awards every year, getting all dolled up with all my theater buddies. And
Karina, she looks like 13 was last year to me.
Thank you. That's so kind. I don't know. I think the scale would tell you a different story, especially after the pandemic.
Just thought I'd throw it out there.
But yes, I mean, I've grown up with that, but I love just seeing people I haven't seen, from prior casts or I'm big into the youth theater scene. I'm a former teacher, so getting to see my students kind of grow up with other theater companies and meet all of their friends, and like it's such a heartwarming event to just have to be together. And it's a bummer that we weren't able to do that this year. And this is in no way a replacement. The UnAwards show is in no way. We can't even attempt to get people feeling that warm, fuzzy feeling when they get to see one of their friends perform, or hang out at the after party, or like we can't.
Well, you forget how big the state, even though it's a small state, you forget how big it is in the arts industry.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was asking you earlier about, but there's 100, 200 groups?
Probably. Right? We have typically year to year, we have somewhere between like 25 and 35 participating companies, and those companies have multiple shows that they submit often. And and they involve people, casts of all ages and sizes, and from different regions. There is a lot of cross pollination within regions. We've got participants who are in 3 or 4 shows with different companies in a season. So and
some of them flip-flop between the community theater and the professional, right?
Yes. And straight plays and musicals, or something in between.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you kind of get to know, certain players. I do have some stories about this too. There definitely were performers when I was younger that I just didn't know, right? Like the players like the Brian Halperins, right? When I was younger, I had no idea who these people were, who were just either helping out in the wings, or we saw the Scott Severances, right? Like I didn't know them personally, but I grew up kind of knowing their work. And that's kind of cool too, to grow up in a community and then be able to really, be part of it. And just see the evolution of some of our young people now who are performing with some of the people that I grew up like watching on stage as well, or kind of idolizing a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Karina, you ran off there. You like?
I just counted. So it's like 80 community theater groups in New Hampshire.
80.
35 or so professional groups.
More than 10.
More than 10.
But it's huge. I mean, you don't realize that we get so myopic, be trying to get our own show staged and keep the momentum going. You forget. One of the great things about the adjudication process is that you get to go see some of these shows that are nowhere near where you live,
Oh, for sure. I just think it's such a wonderful model, and that's why that we don't ever want that to go away, right? The ballot might look different, or the way that things are scored might get better, right? But the crux of what adjudication, the purpose really behind it, is to send people all over the state to celebrate each other and to watch each other and to take back something for your own craft, or take back at the very least an appreciation that somebody, an hour away, or maybe right next door, the town right next door, is doing the same thing that you are, because they love it. Like that's ultimately what the Alliance is all about. That was our hope, right? That there's just this general celebration. It's not about getting the feedback necessarily or criticism, right? It's about building each other up and just celebrating how much theater we have for such a small state.
Right.
For sure.
Right. My wife and I went out. It's funny how it forces you outside. So we were adjudicating a show. I don't even recall where it was, but it was far enough away so that, we had to make an evening of it. But I got out there and I'm like, it's a quaint little town. It was a tremendous show. I remember adjudicating it and I loved the show. And I thought, how is it? This is obviously going on around me in all these other towns.
Right.
I'm stuck in Concord or, the Winnie up there. And you just forget that there's all of this talent and these resources that are actually going on around you. You're not the center of the universe, Right.
Right. And I think that makes us all better artists.
Yes.
Too. You have to get outside of your own head. If you want to work on your craft, you've got to be exposed to other people doing different types of things, right?
Yes.
And that we have so many companies that are doing things that I never dreamed would be happening in New Hampshire, or that I, as a director have never thought about doing. And that's just so inspiring and helps me, be a better director. And I love that. I love taking pieces of what other, what other creatives have done and saying, how does that, how can I use that in my own, directing or in some way.
That's one of my favorite. I was going to say that's one of my favorite parts for the New Hampshire Theatre Awards is just seeing all the different groups, working with all the different groups, giving them the opportunity. And for some of them, it's huge. Like,
yeah,
God, we're on the stage for the New Hampshire Theatre Awards, and it's. I mean, and I've been part of a youth group that had that opportunity, not this past one, but the year before. And they were so, honored, grateful, just so excited. And it was so wonderful to see. And that's got to be the best part. And one thing with the UnAwards show that I'm hoping we can take away from it and maybe do more of with whatever we go forward with in these, coming years is the fact that we are seeing glimpses of not just award-winning stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So like the UnAwards show, we've got it from various companies all around the state, just flat out, this is what we did. There's no like, well, did you make the top 3? Because
right.
There's no competition.
We don't want to see you, it's, and I really hope, that will stay alive, just honoring all of the theater.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on it, but that's a great point, Karina. One of the great things about the evening of the awards is that to get to your point, when you're not in there, if you're not performing there, you're performing for like your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad. The theater awards, it's your peers. There's all that much pressure. Yeah. 700, 800 of your peers, right? You better have good game at that point. It's a charge. It's a real charge.
I have to tell you, so the first time I was part of New Hampshire Theatre Awards, I had never performed on stage as an actor. Okay, so I only just, playing piano, singing, concerts, directing, whatever. But I had never done it as an actor. And so I would joke around to people. I'm like, yeah, the very first time I actually had to memorize lines and act on stage was in front of the whole New Hampshire theater community. What was I thinking?
Yeah. There was baptism by fire.
Yeah.
And the rush is crazy. I don't want to keep you all too much longer. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover about either the UnAwards or at this point, the Alliance?
I would just say we are always looking for folks with good ideas and time and energy and effort, to spare. I think the New Hampshire Theatre Alliance can be what we want to make it as a New Hampshire theater community. And so we would welcome, just anyone who is interested in joining a committee or learning more about the board and potentially joining the board, or maybe you just have one germ of an idea and, you want to bring it to the team and see it kind of grow. That's exactly what we're looking for as we kind of go through this identity crisis, this time of a little bit of a pause, reflection, so we can, create something that we all can have a stake in and move forward.
How do they get in touch with you? How would they, if they wanted to do it?
Yeah, so we do have a form on our website. If you go to nhtheatrealliance.org, you can submit it and it'll go right to our emails, and then we'll reach back out to you. You can also message us or post on our Facebook page. But you can find us at New Hampshire Theatre Alliance on Facebook, and then also on Instagram, NH Theatre Alliance as well.
Excellent.
And
Great.
we hope people tune in on April 10th to see.
Yeah.
I mean, they should see some people they haven't seen in a long time, right? I mean,
Yes.
That's right.
It has
faces.
been, it has been a year for some people, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'd love to see people there. And like I said before, they can get tickets, free tickets, through the Eventbrite link that will go live tomorrow, and then they'll get
That
the
will
link.
be on your Facebook page?
It'll be posted on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and on our website as well. So it can be anybody with or without social media.
Okay.
You can go to nhtheatrealliance.org or follow us on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, great. I'm going to try to get this cut up and edited, and I do submit it over to Concord TV, the local
Awesome.
cable. So hopefully I can get it out there to them and they can run it before the event too. But
Great.
otherwise, at least it to be some exposure for the NHTA ongoing.
Thank you so much for being willing to do this. I don't know how prepared I necessarily was, but hopefully you have some gems that you can cut this down. And
It's NH unscripted. It's for a reason.
love it.
Don't worry about
Great.
your notes. Well, thank you so much, Ellen. Karina,
you.
thank you so much.
It's so
Tracy,
nice to
wherever
meet
you went to, I
Yeah.
don't know where Tracy is.
And I know she's somewhere in the cybersphere waiting, I guess. Let's chat about that festival idea, because that could be
I left it with you.
real cool. Okay. I just feel like there are probably some more gems in there in that brain. So
There are actually, but yeah, okay. Yeah, I would actually like to sit down with you.
that
at
sounds
some
great.
point.
That sounds
I
great.
think we can do it. We can get a lot of, I'm guessing, local businesses like Gibson's maybe to kick in. I mean, they're great sponsors.
They
Get
are.
Uno's already who helps with, and Red River will help with the audio and all that stuff. So,
Totally. It could be a Main Street, takeover for sure. Main Street and beyond. We can have satellite locations. I have seen some real success with those kinds of, conferences or events that are kind of spread out across a small city or town. So I think that could be really cool to have a little bit of a,
I would think it would help the restaurants a lot. Let's say you had events, the workshops that were taking place at the Steeplegate. There's Applebee's down there. There's the 99 down there. And I
Right.
don't know what else I'm missing, but
yeah,
they're all going to eat before or after the show. So
it's true. It's true. And hopefully, stay over or
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll send you the
Thank
file.
you.
All
As
right.
soon as it compresses, I'll either send you a link if it's too big to send over email. I'll just send you a
Okay.
link to it through our Google Drive.
Great.
But I'll try to email it directly too,
Okay.
and you can
All right.
do
Thank
what
you.
you will with it.
Thank you. So nice meeting you both. Really.
Thanks.
Yes, you
Yeah,
too.
I appreciate you doing this. I really
Yeah,
do.
of course. Thanks for
All right.
having me.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.